Look out! Guess who's back again? Don't know how much hurt yourself. No, the blue. I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. So many pretty girls around me and they're waking up to keep up. Why you mad?
Did anybody bring the mushrooms?
What y'all trying to do?
What y'all trying to do? Whoa.
Look out!
We got dancing too.
Told you we're doing some EDM.
I opened up group chat if you guys want to check that out. If you guys have anything to say.
Yeah, I want this song. What is this song?
That's gassed up. Totally messed up though.
What was it again?
It's called gassed up. I got distracted here.
Jazzed up.
Jazz up.
What's up, Quick? Kwok?
Quick Kwok.
Still trying to
Quick
get
and Kwok.
done. I don't know. I had one too many martinis last night.
Now you're on water?
I was a little slow working today. I'm still trying to get some stuff done.
That's awesome.
That will be the story for the rest of my day, and it just started. So
Yeah.
What time is it there?
9:15 a.m.
9:15
on a Friday. Yeah, long Friday.
What better way to start your Friday?
Oh, this is the first time I'm starting Friday with a Zoom party, man. First time ever.
So Jeremy, when will you go back to the office?
We're supposed to stay home till end of this month, and then we will see. Actually, if I really wanted to go back and check my table, see if it's full of mold and fungus, I could. But yeah, I'm not doing that soon.
So is it a fraternity or is it playa? Like playa?
Playa. That's what it looks like anyways.
Just so you guys know, I know none of these songs, huh?
I don't either. Jeremy, we don't either.
I don't either.
My music era was like 1989 to about 92.
We need Cantonese pop.
I was gonna say that.
I voted for Skrillex, but apparently I
heavy
down.
metal. So.
Heavy metal, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Some Metallica, Pantera.
So, Kevin, the next one's karaoke party.
Karaoke party. Yep, that'll be good.
We can make that happen right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
I feel like Paul would be epic at karaoke.
He does
Not
it every day.
good. Not good. Just in presentation value alone.
I mean, you start almost every day with it for us, and so we love it.
But it's not talent. It's not talent, Chris. It's just, look, it's forgive me, again, it's master unfuck with ability.
You know long enough. A talent doesn't matter in this day and age. It's all if you have fun doing it.
That is true.
Hey,
No,
so
no,
why don't we start? I don't know how the grid works, but why don't we just start introducing, like, actually, I mean, most of us know who we are, but maybe explain a little like what we actually do for a living. Because I think, you know, we post a lot, but a lot of people don't actually know like what our career is, what we do, and the purpose you're on LinkedIn. Love to hear that. Let's start with that.
Sure.
Whoever wants to go first, because I have no idea how the grids are aligning. I see myself up top, but it might be different for all of you. So, well, since the ladies are outnumbered, so let's start with the ladies.
Good idea.
Jen, you're up first.
Oh, it's all quick. It's all quick. Okay, I'll do
it.
I'll do
all
it.
right. Okay, well, I don't know who I am. No, I'm just kidding. So I work for Fortinet, which is a cybersecurity firm. And I just started there. This is my 3rd week at the job. And I will be running the Southeast territory. So I'm not sure what states I'm getting up yet. I guess they're carving the team up and stealing some territory for some other reps. So I'm sure they'll be thrilled about that. And yeah, I actually started really on LinkedIn, like kind of growing my personal brand and stuff about 7 or 8 months ago, I guess now, because my last job in Telemagic, I was selling IT operations analytics into these massive enterprise companies. But like my main competitors were like IBM, you know, BMC, all these big players in the tech world. And here I'm this girl sitting in an office in Texas trying to get in front of all these decision makers across the country, when, you know, they had IBM reps in the ears of all of my customers on site in every major city in the US. So I was fighting an uphill battle. And I said, well, if I can grow my brand and just get myself more exposure online and via LinkedIn, get in front of more of the executives and decision makers I need, like higher up the rung. And then when they see me prospecting into them, sending emails, leaving voicemails, they're going to connect my name with, oh, I've seen this girl somewhere, and maybe more doors will open. And that's what happened. I pulled 3 massive Fortune 10 deals Q1 of this year. And that was all because finally, after like 6 months of just traditional prospecting, like emails, phone calls, all of that fun stuff, they connected with me on LinkedIn and saw me as a human. And next thing you know, they booked meetings, and you know, one call took me about 15 minutes to move it to the next step, and that's a deal that's closing later this year. So yeah, so LinkedIn has been hugely beneficial for me, kind of growing my personal brand and just getting more exposure. And now Fortinet stole me, and they I had a call with my boss today who said, "You ready to leverage your network for Fortinet?" They have a 5-year strategic plan that I'll be selling enterprise in 5 years to Fortinet. And I'm like, no pressure, guys. So that's what I'm doing on LinkedIn. I'll be here in a year, maybe, or in an insane asylum. One of those 2 things.
That's awesome. Amy. What about you, Jen?
Well, I have to say mine is not near as exciting of a story as that was. So that's awesome, Amy. I am actually,
Don't sell yourself short.
Well, so I do business development. I'm the business development manager for J29, which Kevin and I own. I definitely came on board to help support Kevin as he, you know, he wears many hats in our company. And so I just wanted to help with making connections and meeting new people. And so I originally came on LinkedIn for, you know, to take on that position, but also to help build him up. And then I realized I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm a extreme extrovert, and I love inspiring people. I love encouraging people, and I actually love connecting with people. So content is so much fun for me. And so I love reading people's content. and I love ingesting it, and I love, you know, spitting it out myself. So that's kind of my story and where I'm at.
Awesome. What about Paul?
Did Paul?
Oh shit.
And now, your starting fun champion out of Louisa, Kansas, Paul Sorry, I kid.
There you go. That was
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Shouldn't it go like Paul? And then for as long as you can.
I figured I would definitively do that, but if I wouldn't wake up everybody in this house, that would not necessarily be the goal. Paul Long, I fell into content on LinkedIn through a quarantine. And so what I mean by that is I was just willy-nilly posting at various times with no rhyme or reason. And I would even argue that to this day, I really have no rhyme or reason in terms of what I'm posting or how I'm posting it. It's literally whatever I wake up and whatever I feel. And I post purpose and a song and ultimately go about it that way. What I do for a living, you know, I was blessed to have the opportunity. I post the same content on LinkedIn as I do on Instagram, as I do on Facebook, as I do on Twitter. And I know Timothy DeJesus and I, we've had this discussion about how many people feel like LinkedIn is a super professional platform. And what I found is I'm getting as much engagement as I ever did by posting the same stuff on LinkedIn that I have been on my other platforms. So recently on Facebook, somebody posts, I wonder what it is your kids think you do for a living. And so I asked our daughter, who's 7 years old, Adeline, what do you think Dad does for a living? And she says, you speak and you help others have more fun in life. And I thought, Eureka, our 7-year-old
awesome.
daughter. I mean, it was just a defining moment for my relationship with them and just understanding what the heck I do, because she articulated it better than I do. So in short, I'm a keynote speaker / consultant. So you'll find me on stages, typically doing 45-minute to hour-and-a-half long keynotes. I've been doing a lot of webinars lately. I just mentioned that I did PayPal. The coup de grace happened recently. I was selected as one of 6 speakers in the world to get to do the International Association of Speakers Bureaus Showcase, which basically means any management firm or speakers bureau that connects clients with speakers, they were in the audience. And so that was supposed to be live in April, but it got postponed. And so they asked me to do a webinar the other day. And I can humbly say that we slayed. And the biggest bureau in the nation, Premier Speakers, actually reached out immediately after. And we've been back and forth about 5 or 6 times since then. So things are looking up. I am a firm believer that based on all of your content and the work that you guys are putting in right now, because I see you, even though we're not commenting all the time. And please note, like Kevin said, and like I said, that's not an expectation. So don't feel like you have to go in and catch up with posting and commenting on everybody's stuff, because that defeats the purpose. So with all the work that we're putting in, I am certain that the latter half of 2020 and into 2021 are going to be our biggest and most impactful years yet. So thanks for allowing me and accepting all of my craziness to share and have fun with you.
LinkedIn is a more fun place with you there, Paul.
Well, thanks.
Yes, it is.
Thanks, man.
What about you, Chris? Simon?
Yeah, I got to head out in a few, but yeah, so I am an executive coach, leadership development, organizational change consultant is the jargon. What I really do is I help people love what they do, have fun at work, and make a difference. So most of my work is executive coaching. I talk with people about typically like VPs through senior level CEOs about what excites you, what's your purpose, what's your passions, how can we get you to live that out at work, and so that it's a more enjoyable, it's a better culture. And what some companies get that others don't is when people find their passions and they're excited about what they do, there's more creativity, there's more ingenuity, there's more productivity, and there's more profits. And so the companies who understand that it starts with the people are the ones I work with. My job's not to convince people. If they don't believe that, then I'll let someone else deal with them. And so the jobs I do, I'm working for a local architecture firm here, helping a partner who got passed up for managing partner, and they want to know why. And so working on his leadership stuff. I got hired for the local University of Arkansas, to do all their deans and vice chancellors training on executive communication, executive presence. I had my dream job earlier this Q1 pre-COVID that I got to work with the 4 managing partners of a big firm, individually coaching, and then I got to do leadership development training as a team. How can they work better as a team? So I get to build individuals up, the team up, so they help each other out. They're not at each other's throats, and then everybody's happier and people make more money. And so that's what I love to do. Kind of where LinkedIn fell in is similar to Paul, quarantine, right? When COVID hit, every single one of my contracts paused. I was blessed, none of them canceled, but every single one paused and said, hey, we need to build up our cash supply, so we're going to put this on pause and we'll start up when the time's right. Most of those have come back. And so during that, after about 2 or 3 weeks, I was twiddling my thumbs. My wife, I was starting to drive her crazy. And so I decided to start posting on LinkedIn, just because my heart is to help people. And so whether they're paid clients or not, if I can share snippets of conversations I have with executives, they're going to help a 22-year-old who just got out of college just as much. And so I was just doing it to help, and then started getting a pretty good following as well. And so now I'm just trying to post every day just to get out there. It's turned into a marketing strategy now, similar to Paul. I have no rhyme or reason. It's, hey, I had this conversation with a coachee today and I thought it was pretty great, so let's throw it out there. And it's been a lot of fun. Still trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. My work is still low for me, so I don't do a lot. That's my job, but this is my hobby. This is my dream workshop behind me. So I'm a woodworker by trade too, and so I do custom furniture and all that as well. That's not my shop, but maybe one day. But so yeah, so when I'm not working, I'm in my workshop building furniture, building dream bench, and doing a bunch of stuff for people in the community. And so this is what I do to not drive my wife crazy, because if not, me not having anything to do with the house is not a good scenario for anyone. So similar to Jen, LinkedIn's been fun. It's been a place to encourage people when I don't have anything else to do, rather than spiral and do other stupid things. So that's kind of my background and what I'm doing on here.
That's awesome. What about you, Tim?
All right. Short version is I help.
Which Tim?
Short version. Yeah, that's true. Which Tim? That's true.
Rock, paper, scissors. No,
go, Tim DeArmond, go start, babe. Go ahead. It's all you.
All right, so I don't have like a huge story like all you guys. Like I've been working with the same company probably for the last 15 years. Obviously, you know, being in a company that is ever evolving. 15 years ago, we were just a newspaper. Now we're the biggest newspaper company in Canada, in addition to being a media company as well. So we're doing everything from content, we're Google partner, Facebook partner, Spotify partner. And some of my wins, I think, I live and work in a rural area, and but I still have the availability to take on clients basically anywhere. Some of my successes include working with big cannabis companies, and being the first person in Canada to sell a local Spotify campaign. So that was kind of cool. And that was about 3 years ago when we were beta testing it. The first campaign went horribly wrong, but after that, I managed to actually really learn from that. I do all my own scripts, and the engagement level on it is just huge. It's so underrated. But I really love what I do. I love working with my clients. I work with everything from small to large and everywhere in between. I really just enjoy putting packages together to help my clients figure out, getting that ROI and going from the top to the bottom of the funnel. That's what I do.
Awesome.
What about
Awesome.
the other?
Sorry,
Tim?
I got to run, guys. I have a game night with my neighbors that I can't bug out on. But it was great seeing you guys. I can't wait till we do this again, though. But you guys have an awesome night.
You too,
Take it
Chris.
easy,
Bye,
Chris.
Chris.
Thanks for joining, Chris.
Have fun.
Wait, what?
What about Tim the Bear? Tim.
So me, I'm just a big old teddy bear. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. No, all seriousness, short version of what I do is I help car dealers get better so they're not as obnoxious when you guys go visit them. I do sales training for them. I do sales process for them. I help them advertise. So, when you guys go visit a car dealer and you have a good experience, hopefully they say, hey, Tim D helped me out a little bit. But in all seriousness, that is what I do. Maybe not on a global level, but that's what I do. Obviously, I also DJ just a little. I do lots of other fun stuff, but that's my main description. And I got on LinkedIn just to kind of get the word out there about myself, because I started this year really wanting to become an entrepreneur and go on my own. I've been working for people for 20 plus years, and I kind of decided, all right, enough was enough. So I wanted to get on LinkedIn and get my personal brand out there, and that's why I got on LinkedIn. So it's been pretty fun, but that's me.
Awesome. What about you, Kenneth?
I work in a university at the moment. So I work in Australian University, which has a campus in Singapore, quite international. But most of my career has been in education. I started off doing the sales bit, the student recruitment, but now I've shifted to marketing.
Oh.
So I really got into LinkedIn because of Gary V years ago. So I was writing my own blog to get organic leads. So I created some gated content and stuff. So people were coming to me to get information on how to get funding for university and stuff. And that's when I chanced upon Gary V, and I've been on LinkedIn ever since. Haven't gotten his virality yet. I think I'll get there someday.
Good, that's good.
I got a question. What percentage of your revenue, Kenneth, comes from that hair modeling that you do? That mane is gorgeous. Like,
Yeah,
I'm trying to
thanks.
work on mine's not staying with me too much longer, but goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Mine was a lot longer than this just a couple days ago, and man, it was getting pretty bad. I almost had a man bun going. So,
Awesome.
thankfully I was able to go and get my haircut a couple days.
Nice.
Aldric's here.
Ninja.
Yeah. But for those
Hey,
who are
man.
interested in the
Mask.
Kento movies,
Hey man, you guys are killing me, seriously.
you out and about, Aldric.
Hang on. I'm just trying to find a secluded corner in the mall so I can
It's like a corner in the mall.
You look like a crazy person talking to yourself.
You're not supposed to take that off, dude.
You guys are killing me, seriously. I just finished a physio and now I'm like trying to find a corner in the mall so I won't be arrested or something.
Oh, the malls.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Aldric sneaking around. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome with his mask.
I have to check. I'm checking for like cameras, like civilian. Yeah, I'm good. Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on?
I've been thinking.
So we're just all introducing each other. So I think we're Jeremy. Go ahead.
Yeah. So well, I think so what's the original question? Oh, what do I do for a living, right? And why I'm on LinkedIn? Yeah. So I've been with this company by the name of Sensomatic Solutions for quite a bit. I first joined in 2000, and then there was like a bunch of acquisitions, and then I was in China with the same company from 2004 to 2013, and then I came back Singapore jobless for more than a year, and then I joined a different company which does smart metering. That's your gas meter, water meters, and your electricity meters. That's when I met Aldric on a job. He's a consultant side, right? So I thought the two of us hit it off pretty well. And then we kept in contact ever since, on and off. And then I rejoined the Sensormatic company. So primarily, we do technology for physical retail stores. So that's the shoplifting thing. If that name sounds familiar, if you ever see two gray things, pedestals at the door, and you see those labels and tags on your clothes, you try and steal something and that thing goes off, yeah, that's probably Sensormatic. That's the company I work with. So we have that anti-shoplifting stuff. We have traffic analytics. We track how many people come in and out of the store, and we also have inventory tracking, which is this RFID technology. So I do marketing for Asia Pacific for this company. And so one of the main reasons why I'm in LinkedIn is really to get my personal brand out, because during the period when I was jobless, I realized that, I had nothing to show for in terms of, digital marketing capabilities, because whatever I did in China was taken over, and, the website and build or whatever with my team is gone. So I realized that, there's no longevity, with what you do in companies. So I decided to put things up in LinkedIn, because at least that stays with me. It's something I bring along and carry along wherever I go. And it's also to prove a point that, I sort of know digital marketing, content and stuff. So if I go to an interview the next time, I hope this gives me a little bit of edge and say that, oh, which of your candidates does, podcast or whatever, post on LinkedIn, does a video, if you want to show passion, yeah, check out my retail videos, that kind of thing. So that's kind of, why I'm on LinkedIn, maybe a little bit overcompensating, but it's funny how life takes you around on LinkedIn. And I would not have been able to meet all you fantastic guys, be on a live chat every week, right? It was not for Aldric and Kevin. Unimaginable that I'm doing all this at the age of 45. So that's my little story.
We love you,
the
Jeremy.
age of 45.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what about Aldric? So you can get, before you get arrested. The mall cop.
Aldric, you're on mute. You're on mute. Mute. You're on mute.
Yeah. Just before a quick keynote. Just before I get arrested somehow, somewhere now, I'm just I've never been so self-aware, but I think. Okay, so what's the original question? Is it just an introduction?
Who you are and what you do.
Yeah, what
you do and how you end up on LinkedIn.
How I end up on LinkedIn? I started off with a wrong footing. I'm here just. It used to be that I'm there to look for a job, and then slowly I realized that hey, the orientation is wrong, because that platform is literally it's literally networking on steroids, right? So I rejigged and I said, okay, forget about the job portal thing. I don't think that's gonna fly. That was 3 years ago, and I think even as they put in more and more job posters, it doesn't really gain any traction. So I started just having more, how should I say, an orientation and a focus on the networking side, right? That's where I started really like meeting people. Then my thoughts changed along the way. Literally, it's like, hey, just like the article that I published yesterday, right? In some networking events, they are predicated upon a closed door, which means it's by invite, or you have to be of some position or whatsoever, right? But today, as with LinkedIn, we can create our own events, we can do our own networking, and we can start meeting people that we have never met before. It used to be that we had to collect name cards on a Rolodex, like I know who's who. But those days are no longer that important, because who's who is predicated upon the ability to search, to connect, and to have a conversation. To search, to connect, and to have a conversation. To Jeremy's point, and probably to Kevin and Timothy and Jennifer as well, what's really important today, and I'm vested in bottoms-up perspective, because I believe in the core of why we do what we do, and at the same time, as media gets more decentralized and more power is being put into our pockets by our phones, the ability to connect and to get attention and direct our attention to things that matter would be very, very important. I don't think Dennis is in this call, but using him as an example, he believes in liberating medical sciences, right? So when we have enough traction in what we are doing as bottoms up, we can start pointing people's attention, our followers' attention, to what medical science should be, right? We can start pointing to things that really make sense to us, like climate change, or plant-based diet, or how digital marketing, content marketing, or pre-selling can be. That's what I'm here for, and I truly believe in it. I've seen some comments about like me being on steroids on LinkedIn and whatsoever, because I think the point is not really just to post for the sake of posting. The point is really, we are, as humans, we are interested in the people. I am interested in, for instance, Amy or Paul or Timothy or Jeremy, right? And if I can get to know you more via your contents, I know your persona, I know your personality, right? I know if we can click. I know if we have shared values. And I'm a strong believer in that. I'm a strong believer in that. And I have been a beneficiary of it. So that's literally what I do on LinkedIn. I think there's huge potential in terms of how digital can really help us in what we do. I think that is really, really possible. As individuals and as small businesses, we can be extremely nimble and we can move with the times. We can stay ahead of the curve. That is a position and an advantage that the big businesses do not have. They don't. They are predicated upon defending their business. They won't be able to keep thinking about how to go on the offense, how to gain new market share and things like that. So I think it's a very exciting world out here. And individuals and small businesses will take the lead. That's what I think. Pretty
Love
short,
you, Aldric.
Hey, Paul, I see that. I'm going on the offense. You have been on the offense for the longest time in the gym and
No,
your
I'm
funny
with
t-shirts.
you.
Yeah.
You got me hyped,
Listen.
man. I'm ready to go with you.
Listen, if I was gonna get into a fight, I would take Aldric and Paul with me, and we would get down. It would be some ruckus right there. Those are some serious ass dudes right there.
Well,
Don't take me. I'm the 45-year-old old man. I'm
Hey,
still
where
with
am
the
I
military,
at?
Okay, I'm still with the
Oh,
military.
you too,
I
Amy.
can
You
still do
too.
I can get down,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
all right,
think I would
believe
take
that.
Jennifer and Amy over Aldric and Paul.
I ride 1,600-pound
Smart
horses.
man.
Okay.
That's a smart man.
Hey,
Yeah.
before you guys go and make decisions, go ahead and click on that photo in the chat and then tell me who you choose.
Oh.
That's a little brutal, Paul.
Well, I guess I haven't gone yet, so it's my turn. So I am a founder of J29 Creative Group. We're a full stack digital marketing agency here in Kansas City. We've been around for 6 years. I had a web development company in Springfield, Missouri. It's a small town, for about 6-7 years. So before that, my journey was I was actually a software engineer for the newspaper industry back in early 2000. I'm older than I look. And when I did the software thing, I experienced my first layoff, and it was during the .com bubble when it popped. So I decided, hey, I saw what these older guys that were executives were losing their job. And I was like, hey, I don't want to live like that. So I took my severance package and started my own web development company. And it was hot back then. You can sell $40,000 websites, So I signed my first client in Chicago. It was a mortgage corporation. And it was like the startup companies you see. I always make jokes. I was the first hipster company in Springfield, Missouri. And we drove up to Chicago, couple single guys. We would do what I call sales splits. And then we would go up to corporations and
Did you
go,
say
hey.
whippets?
Blitz.
Whip it? Oh, whip it.
Blitz.
I thought you were
We
saying.
did that too. And we would,
Oh my gosh.
sell websites and stuff. And then we would come back and we would have a retainer working on web stuff. During that time, I was like your typical young guy. I decided to open a restaurant and bar. So I thought it would be really cool to own a bar. And at the time, my father was an executive chef. So I opened up a restaurant and bar. So I have my web development company. And I had no idea that the restaurant and bar would consume my 4 years of my life. It seemed like a lot of fun, but at the same time, it was actually a lot of work as well. So during that time, that's when I started dabbling in a platform called MySpace. So I took MySpace into thousands of followers, and I decided, hey, I can market the bar business with MySpace very well. So I started dabbling into marketing on MySpace and built my bar up. We were one of the #1 college bars in my town. Had DJs, had a lot of fun, right? And in 2008, my father, in 2007, my father got diagnosed with cancer and passed away. And when he passed away, I started really searching what was really for me, and I started going back into, I did car sales, I did a bunch of stuff because I ended up taking a bankruptcy, walking away from actually a pretty successful business. But at the time I was in my 20s and I just decided this isn't what I want to do. So I just stepped away. And when you step away, you still have loans. You still have all types of stuff you're tied to. So I try to get back into the whole IT industry, right? So did my share of recruiting. And that's when I was very active on LinkedIn. So I was an IT recruiter for a time. Slowly sold cars for enterprise car sales, so did that. And then finally I landed on at a software company for a logistics company. And the CEO hired me and I started working my way into becoming a marketing director. Yeah, so I did that and then decided that company was designed to sell. And I was part of the transaction and they sold to United Emirates. So you guys are probably familiar with that company. And when that happened, I started J29 Creative Group. So, and so I've been on every social media platform there is. While I was at that company, I call it R&D. I got to use their money to play around with a lot of social media platforms, a lot of search engine platforms, built all kinds of software and different things. So started learning the algorithm and everything, and it brought me here today, right? And for me, it's really, LinkedIn became a way for me to just connect with people and build relationships. So I did my share of the funnel, mass connecting, trying to build business opportunities through different platforms. And at the end of the day, really, it's all about relationships. I mean, every relationships I met through MySpace went with me to Facebook. And from Facebook went with me to Instagram. From Instagram, they're still friends with me on LinkedIn. So remember that, these platforms will come and go, just like the newspaper, just like television.
I noticed you didn't mention TikTok.
Yeah, I am on TikTok. I'm not active on it anymore.
I just posted my first the other day.
I haven't quite figured it out yet. So I'm not very good at it.
I've clearly been dabbling in it. I don't know if you guys saw my my consultation with Mayan Gordon, but it was really good. If you have an hour, it lasted an hour. If you have an hour to watch it, there's a lot of insights there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd like to check that out. Gary V, somebody mentioned Gary V earlier, obviously, and Kenneth, I think it was. And he says, just post, the same content that you're posting everywhere on TikTok just to get started. And I found that I have no idea when I post anything there, no one looks at it because I have 0 followers and I'm following 0 people. And I don't have time to invest in another social media platform right now.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think
I'm
that's
just going to interject for a sec.
Please.
You don't have to have a following at all to actually be seen by like 10,000 people.
Yeah.
It really is like quite the platform. Like it doesn't work like other social media is.
And that's just a hashtag.
Totally with you, Tim. And to the point that Paul is making, I just make it short just in case. to the point.
Aldric, that's what you're doing right now.
I feel
would be a
naughty
good
on this
TikTok
call,
for you.
man.
He's over.
I mean, like to Paul's point, right? You see, when we first started off bottoms up and we put it on YouTube, I don't think we have very good viewership. But I just checked the latest video. We have 61 subscribers. We all start somewhere, Paul.
Yeah, for sure. There he is.
Oh, this is for you.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, he's got the superhero bear.
Oh, check out the name.
Jeremey. Yeah, buddy.
Ooh, that's impressive.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, Tim. Well, you've inspired me at least to go check out the 1 hour. I intended to go when you guys did it. So thank you for the reminder.
Yeah. So what's your top TikTok video, Tim?
Well, I have a couple of them. One of them.
Explain to me what you're doing on it.
Okay, so I've been kind of like well, and you'll find out in the video, but I kind of been all over the place. You know how there's that whole 60-40 mentality when it comes to posting anything on social media. You know, you post like 60% stuff that people are going to find interesting, and maybe like 40 to 30%, you know, more business oriented, trying, you know, to let people know what you do and who you are, and you know, drum up sales. But with TikTok, it's totally different. Like, I mean, if you have more of a means of having a channel that's very specific, honed in on something, like say you're great at cooking, like say that's something that you would like to share or like to show people how to cook things in 15 seconds, do it, because it's going to go bananas. You know, a lot of like TikTok started out with all the dancing and stuff like that, but you know, now there's like people who know how to dance professionally on it. That's going out the window. It's more about like doing business tips. There's more like joke type stuff, like video meme type stuff, you know, stuff like that. In the news type stuff that really goes really well. Some of my biggest ones are, one was I posted about, here in Canada we have the CBAP, which is, you know, during quarantine, that's what people were going on. They were getting $2,000 a month. And I did kind of a breaking news on it. It was just a 15-second video talking about that. And like, I think I'm well over 100,000 views or something like that. And mostly like it'll hit mostly your geographic region, unless your followers are kind of outside of that area as well. And then I'll kind of branch out a little bit. But there was that. I did a 7-second video of the gas price. So like we had, you know, this gas price, and I threw on like a Back to the Future theme song, and it went well over it. Like it's at 120,000 views. It's like, it's just absolutely bonkers what you can do on that platform.
How do you even see your views? Like I posted one video, I have no idea.
It'll tell you on the post itself.
It tells you on the post, and then if you go into your options, you can get a kind of an advanced version of the platform where it'll give you all the analytics and everything from your posts, as long as you have enough data for them to say, hey, this is what we have to show you. It'll tell you, like, in the people that you've connected with, what songs are trending among those people, you know, and stuff like that. I haven't looked at it closely recently, but it'll tell you kind of like your ups and downs, you know, on your daily and stuff like that. It's free. Like it's just, you have to just ask for it. So
yeah. All right, I got to check it out because I only have one video, but I mean, everybody's talking about TikTok. I just don't know how to use it.
That is so funny.
Amy, I
That's
think you get
awesome.
10,000 followers just for that handle.
Yeah, right.
I'm absolutely
Guys,
living
I
it.
should mention I only have 1,900 followers.
Wow.
Wow.
So when you think about like how I've reached 120,000 people, not all of them are going to follow you because they, may just like the video and then move on. But that's just how it works.
I'm sorry, Tim. I am not laughing at you. I apologize. What they're saying in the chat is just so funny. I'm sorry.
The ladies are
Probably
having
should
too
mute-
much fun.
I should probably mute myself. Yeah.
If indeed she did get 10,000 followers, they subsequently quickly unfollowed her when they realized that it wasn't what they thought it was.
She goes on talking about business advice, like brings her LinkedIn content, and people are like, "What the f is this? What's this?"
That is
It's
funny.
totally gonna work. I'm gonna
There's
be
a
like,
lot of scam artists on there too. Like that'll be like, "This is how you do this," and it's not at all how you do that. Or it's and they'll get like a ton of views or whatever. Or it'll be like
there's a lot of that on LinkedIn too, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep. I think that's the nature of social media, period. There's a lot of people there for
We're all scam artists in
quick
some
bucks.
regard.
Yep. So, that's right.
Hey, you guys want to have some fun?
I'm actually really excited to find out how YouTube Shorts works out. I don't think it's started yet. Have you guys heard it all?
Yeah, I know it's right around the corner, so it hasn't started yet or quite yet. So, yeah. So, what about Snapchat? Anyone on Snapchat?
I'm not on Snapchat.
I
haven't.
It never interested me.
Yeah. What about Thriller? Have you heard of that platform?
What is that? Oh man,
Thriller?
Kevin is dropping bombs.
So
here.
it's actually like TikTok. It's the US version.
Ah.
Yep.
I'm on Likey. Likey's also a US based version of TikTok.
It's crazy. You got all this stuff. But I do agree. You have to just see where you want to spend your time on, right? Because it's hard to be everywhere, And I know a lot of digital marketers tell people that, hey, you got to be on everywhere, right? But at the same time, everywhere is not realistic sometimes. It just depends on how much time you have, what kind of tools you have to help you, and what your goals are, why you're on social media. And that's why I asked that question. So, like, why are you on there, right? If it's a business opportunity, then you want to find where your target audience is, But this is awesome. But I actually wanted to bring everyone on, get to know everyone. And I know some of you already dropped off because, hey, we have life, right? So but I have a question for you. I think the founders, Jeremey, Timothy, even Aldric, how can we, how can we help you? What are things that we can do to make Bottoms Up better, more relational? What are things we can do to, I know there was this misunderstanding concept when people first hop on the chat that, hey, is this an engagement pod? Do we have to comment on every single post? So that's not the point. We want to build genuine relationships. I want to be able to go, hey, I just decided to close J29 Creative Group and I have no clients and now I need a job. Amy, hook me up with an IT job. Can I sell some tools? That's what this is for, is to build genuine relationships and to be able to refer each other. If there's a fit, hey, Kenneth, I need help with my son going out to Singapore exchange student program. Hook me up, I think that's our intention. The intention is not to gain just engagement or likes in our group, is to actually build each other up on our LinkedIn journey and be able to really establish, because I feel I've been in engagement pods. I've used different tools, and there's nothing where people are actually talking, people are actually connecting, people are actually building each other up. And I want to know everyone, and I know we talk about this, Timothy, Jeremey, Aldric. We want to know everyone, like how we got to know each other, you know, like these guys have, like every Wednesday is something I actually look forward to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I freaking love our Wednesdays, man. It's just fun. And that's, you know, just speaking from a place of, you know, us, like you said, just being realistic and just being real people. I mean, it's just fun. We talk about regular stuff that people, you know, talk about on day to day. It's kind of like that office fix. Like, you know, when we were in the office, you would get your office gossip. It's like our office fix.
Yeah.
Especially without the COVID-19, with the COVID-19 happening. So, you know, I actually do love Bottoms Up.
I wanted to be on here tonight, so much so that we're starting sleep training with my second daughter tonight. So, so I'm just kind of keeping an eye on her while we're doing that. But yeah, you know, I wanted to be on here and meet you guys and kind of face to face, you know.
Oh, definitely. It's good to see you, Tim.
Yeah,
thanks for the info on TikTok, because I really need to learn it.
Tim, hope I can encourage you. I'm still sleep training my 5-year-old.
I'm still sleep training myself. I don't know.
Yeah. I have a 4-year-old that also needs sleep training again, because this has not been a very good last 3 months, you know, being at home for 3 months. So, you know, totally get that.
Jen and I kind of gave up, and I think he just, we're all asleep, and then he's still watching TV. I'll wake up at 2 a.m. and I was like, oh, my son's still up. But now I'm like, okay, I'm used to it. I give up. You win.
Amy, I'm with you. I need sleep training too. I sleep like, you know, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., wake up like 6, sometimes 4. I think it's an old person thing, I think. I don't know. Yeah.
So what time do you get up for work, Jeremy?
We mean pre-COVID or post?
Post.
Okay, so in Singapore, my daughter's on like a 1 week home-based learning, 1 week back to school. It will all finish on the 29th of June, where it goes back to school regularly. So I have to be up at like 6:10 to bring my daughter up the school bus. So I bring up the bus, I come back, I nap a little bit, and then my son gets up, you know, then fix him up for his shower, and then go and nap for like 15 minutes and put him on the bus, and I come back to nap again. So that was basically what happened yesterday. That's why I was late. So I overnapped. So I didn't come on as early as I used to. So yesterday was an accident. So actually I don't have a start time requirement. So it all depends. I try to start at 9, but yeah, sometimes I only start at 10. But I work throughout the day because, you know, I report into the US, the team's in US. So I get on calls at night, you know, 2-3 hours. And after that, I do some more emails. So I don't really have a fixed work time, work schedule. So it's all like a blur. And then in between, I try and sort out kids, you know, do my chores, pull my weight a little bit. So yeah. And in between all that, right, I try to get some time to watch movies, play video games, whatever. So pretty messed up life.
This is great. Well,
I had a lot of fun last night. That was really good. And it was funny because Francois, my partner for 5 on Friday, was on, and he was like, I really loved the whole format, and it was cool. I liked it a lot.
We're very glad you joined us, Amy.
Yeah.
I know. It felt super special.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun.
It was really a platform just to be ourselves, to share what we think, and who knows, it was so fun. Maybe the world just got used to scripted stuff, so maybe we offer something different. I don't know.
And it's to the point, like, you know, we get on there, honestly, we're just talking among each other, that then the world can see us. Like, our plan wasn't going to be like 5 ways to kill it on LinkedIn. It was more, hey, we get along, 4 guys, let's share our perspective, and if people want to listen, they can. And it wasn't
the bar really low.
Yeah, the bar was really low. Like, we weren't.
There was no bar. There was no bar.
We weren't even trying, and if you don't want to listen, that's fine. We really don't care. Is, you know, for me, it was like at 8 p.m. at night, we're like, hey, it's something to do during COVID. And it became friendships, you know, and now it's becoming bigger, right? You know, now we got, you know, you guys as well. And I think it's really cool because I was telling Jennifer, I'm kind of an introvert. You know, I work a lot, you know, I'm outgoing, but at the same time, I'm around so much people when I'm working pre-COVID, right? And I work such long hours. And the thing is, like, I get along with my LinkedIn family more than people that are local. So, like,
that's true.
Sometimes I don't have that much friends, like, you know, there's a lot of superficial stuff, you know, and like Kansas City, you know, the people I know. And I'm like, I almost like, you know, hang out on LinkedIn with the people I've connected with. And there's so much more global perspective because not everyone's here in the US. And it's kind of neat, you know.
I want to be in your bar right now, Kevin. I'm just telling you straight up.
Are you liking my bar?
There's a good selection back there.
I know there is.
Flaming Dr. Peppers or the chocolate martini.
Yeah, that would be some good stuff right there.
So Tim, you're in Tim D, you're in Canada, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
what newspaper you work for?
So I work for Post Media. We are the biggest newspaper company in Canada. As of 4 years ago, they bought us out. We were Sun Media. And prior to that, we were Osprey Media, and that's all within 15 years.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know, we've been through a lot of different iterations, but this one, they certainly just get it when it comes to digital. Like that's been the push ever since they bought us out. So it's been really good.
That's awesome.
Really good.
Yeah. I actually do have a question for Kenneth. Kenneth, where are you originally from? You're now in Australia, right?
No, I'm in Singapore.
Oh, you're in Singapore?
The university has a campus in Singapore.
I always thought you were in Australia, but you definitely sound like Singapore, so I wasn't really quite sure. Okay, thanks for that clarification. So we're in the same piece of land. So retail stores opening today. You going out?
I've been largely staying home the entire time. I think I only go to the supermarket.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same for me. Try not to go out. But will you be going out like today and this weekend?
Maybe over the weekend. I haven't gone out with my girlfriend in 2 months.
Oh.
Wow, that is good though.
Yeah.
Like, even relationships are on Zoom now. Yeah.
So, how's Tim D? How's Canada regards to COVID?
Well, I mean, we're doing better than you guys are right now. I mean, we really shut down things. We didn't shut down things clearly good enough, but you know, we still have cases. We've started reopening in the last 2 weeks. They've been doing kind of phases and stuff like that. So, but being from a rural area, I come from there's 3 or 4 beaches within 20 minutes of me. And everybody from Toronto, like I'm in Ontario, and everybody from Toronto just comes up this way. So, you know, they've been just kind of like shooting it up this way, renting cottages and stuff like that, which is great. But then you're outside of your area, so you're coming from a big city. So are you spreading something that you don't know you have, or, you know? So, but there is a bit more of a concern about wave 2 coming. But you know, I guess, you know, you guys can kind of talk to that a little bit more too, right? So
it's coming. Wave 2 is coming. It's already hit Beijing. So yeah. I always say that there's always going to be a second lockdown for Singapore, because, I mean, seriously, there's no cure for stupidity, there's no vaccine for stupidity, and there's just a lot of stupid people, irresponsible, running around. Right, Kenneth? So many of them.
That's how Jennifer and I felt. You know, we were very good with the lockdown and following all the rules. We had everything delivered to our house for 3 months. And then this last weekend, I bought into, hey, we can wear our mask and we can go out. So we end up going to a restaurant. We went to Cheesecake Factory, and we noticed
that's the one that got looted, right, in New York or something. There, the police out there.
Yeah, well, where we were got muted, there was that too, but then we noticed how many people were out there that act like there's no COVID at all.
Yeah,
yeah.
they,
You know,
Yep.
yeah,
and like
they
people
think
will
that.
give you hugs and everything. Like we ran into someone and they were like, "Hey," and I was like, "Oh," you know.
That's
Fall
the
back,
thing,
bro.
They,
Chill.
everyone thinks that because they have the mask on, that's it. No, COVID's not gonna hit them. That's
So
not the way it works.
after this weekend, I decided to become a hermit again. I was like, dude, I better quarantine myself for 14 days. I hope I didn't get COVID.
Well, I'm thankful because I live in a town of approximately 900 people. So like we're really, really small, and I can still take my kids out for like a bike ride, you know, and stuff like that. And we're not like, you know, in other people's space. And, you know, they opened it up to the point where we can be around up to 10 people. So you kind of decide who your 10 people are. But, you know, I think a lot of people are still even kind of wary of that too. The smart people are. But, you know, I think there's a lot of people out there that have kind of given into a lot of the conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff too. And, you know, which has been so dangerous, in my opinion. But,
Yeah,
you know,
COVID is totally not a real thing.
Yeah. Or like it was, you know, manufactured in a lab or you know, and we'll never know what actually happened. But you know, it's more along the lines of like, it doesn't matter what happened. We're in this now. We need to deal with this, and we need to be responsible for everybody, you know, especially our elderly and those who have immuno issues, you know. That's kind of what I thought.
I actually had it in February. Didn't know it. It was horrible.
No way.
Yeah. I actually went in the end of January. My son had influenza B and he tested positive. And I was sick when I was in the urgent care with him. And the doctor looked over at me and she was like, you know, you don't look like you're feeling very well yourself, Mama. She just assumed that I also had influenza and let it go. And I was really sick, and then I developed what I thought was a secondary like bronchitis. And I mean, it got so bad that I was at work because, you know, of course this was like before like COVID-19 was like really a big thing, a big threat here. Everyone just thought it was flu. And I was at work one day and I was just coughing. I couldn't catch my breath. And finally they were like, just go to the emergency room, like go now. And cause I actually passed out at one point, couldn't barely breathe. Wow. And they put me on like all the steroid treatments and stuff while I was there. So I was stable enough to go home, but they just treated it as pneumonia, antibiotics, you know, steroids, breathing, like I had inhalers, and sent me home. Didn't think anything else of it. You know, I'm going on about my life. I traveled for work, went to like customer on sites, did all this crap, went on a cruise, get on the cruise. And I'm like that. And when I was out to sea on the cruise was when like coronavirus went crazy and they started locking everything down, and they were finally releasing like, here are all the symptoms if you have any of these. And I'm like, oh shit, I have
You're lucky you didn't
all
get
of
stuck on
those.
that cruise ship.
Yeah. And so I actually the last 2 days on the cruise ship, I think probably just from like the traveling and the exhaustion, like and going in the casino too, which was really smoky. I mean, I like completely depleted my inhaler and ended up like leaving the ship shivering, feverish, horrible. Like I called the Texas Department of Health on the way home and said, listen, I'm pretty sure I have COVID-19. What should I do? And they were like, you don't qualify for testing. I'm like, hold on a minute, come again? Like I have all of the symptoms. I've just been on a cruise ship. I probably infected like, I don't know how many people. Don't you think like I should report that? And then, you know, we can figure out like who else has been impacted by that's been around me. And they were like, nope, you're too young. You're not at high risk. I was like, I have a family, you know, I've been like all over.
That's
I've
how
been
to
on a cruise
qualify?
ship. Yeah, they wouldn't test me. And then a week later, we got a letter from the CDC that 2 people on the cruise ship actually popped positive for COVID-19. And we could take that letter from the CDC to go get tested. And they were supposed to just accept it and test me. So I called one of the testing centers because they had just started opening drive-through testing clinics. And at that point I was feeling, fine. And I just I was like, well, I should probably still know. I'd like to know so I could tell anyone I've been in contact with. And I called up and they were like, yeah, you'll get turned away even with the letter, because they were so limited on the number of tests they had. They were only going to test people that were a certain age and at risk factor. And then about 2 weeks ago, they started releasing all those reports about all the kids that were getting the Kawasaki disease side effect, like the rashes and the swelling. And well, yeah, my youngest son has Kawasaki disease. So he was actually hospitalized 2 years ago now for Kawasaki disease. So he's high risk for COVID-19 as well. So I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, like what did I do? And is my son going to be okay? And yeah, to this day, I still don't know officially if I had it, but I talked with my best friend who's a nurse, and she was like, you absolutely had it. And she said that in January, they had this massive influx of patients come in that they tested for the flu, and flu and strep, and they all tested negative. So they just assumed it was really early, and that was that. And then they let them all go. And she said it was hundreds of people that came in that with the same symptoms that I had. And then a lot of them were starting to show what they considered a secondary infection from the flu, which was that bronchitis. And now she said they called a big meeting at the hospital she worked at, and they said, do we call all these patients back and test them now for COVID-19? Because pretty sure all of these negative flu tests here that we had were probably COVID-19, and we just let them walk. And she said they decided, not to do that because they would have been overwhelmed by just testing hundreds and hundreds of patients, and then all the new patients as well on top of that. And I just thought to myself, holy crap, this was growing. I think a lot more people were sick in December, January timeframe than even we were aware. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just put in the chat, God bless America. They're like, yeah, whatever. You don't need to be tested.
I know.
That's crazy.
It was a really intense situation. Because also for work, I was like, do I tell my customers? What the hell? What if they freak out and they're like, don't ever do business with them. They're plagued, So anyways.
Well, I know here, it was to the point where they set up arenas with gurneys and all this kind of stuff. They never actually used them.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's so much worse where you are, and I can't imagine how widespread it actually became. You can read about it, but when I hear what you have to say about it, it's kind of wow, it's just, that blows my mind.
Yeah,
That
to think
absolutely
about
blows
how
my
many
mind.
people had it and either were asymptomatic or just thought it was a common cold, even because they had a really mild version of it. And I just sat there thinking I was sick, but there was a lot of people that were just mildly sick. So yeah.
That's true.
How bad is it, Tim, in Philly?
PA actually has not been terrible, truth be told. PA has actually been pretty good because we started stay-at-home orders 2 weeks before the rest of the country. But it really, I think, helped out in the long run because we haven't been overrun with COVID. So, and we actually opened up probably later because I know Jersey and New York opened up 2 weeks before us. But, we actually haven't had that bad of a run of COVID in Pennsylvania. So I give kudos to our governor. He took a lot of heat, but I think he did a good job with it.
That's awesome.
While in Texas, we're just pew pew virus. Just give it to everyone.
That's how it is in the Midwest as well. I just don't think they take it seriously. They're out at the lake. Yep, COVIDiots. And, yep. And it's Kansas City is interesting because we are split. There's the Missouri side, and then there's the Kansas side, right? So Kansas, their cases are declining because the mayor is refusing to let down on the lockdown, and they extended, their reopening, and it's proven like Missouri side where our curve is rising, and they're still at decline, and we're just literally a highway apart, right?
Wow.
And so they are almost down to no cases. And then Kansas City, where the Missouri side, we're just going up. So, yep. So the lockdown definitely helps. So, yep. Yeah. So, well, thank you all for hopping on tonight. And maybe next time we can get more. And I know it's so hard because with Bottoms Up, there's people everywhere, right? It's such a global, right now, like for a few of the members, it's like 2-3 a.m. So where they're at. So it's hard to just get everyone on here because for people in Asia, some of them are at work or they're doing webinars and stuff. So, but yeah, it was good to put a face to like actually talk to everyone. And yeah, now I know you much better, Tim D. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you guys
and really, I want to thank Kevin really for pulling all this together. Remember how we initially met on LinkedIn? It was just about you reaching out to Aldric, and I was actually having a lunch with Aldric, and then he convinced me, and then we spoke a little bit, and then that's how whole thing was done. So really, really thank you for that, and thank you for keeping on organizing this, keeping us honest and in check on the timing and all. Thank you for all the work you've done. I know you've pulled in your office resources, and eternally grateful for that as well to get this off the ground. So thanks, Kevin, for everything.
Hey, no problem. And Tim was, I think, our first audience.
Audience converted. Yeah.
Yeah, converted into part of our show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were on episode 1, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, two.
It's funny. I don't remember how I saw it, but I didn't catch the live show, but I saw on like one of you guys' posts, it was like, I think it said Kevin Kwok was live. And I remember when you guys advertised it, I was like, let me check this out. And while I was working out, I ended up watching the whole episode. And I was like, oh, this shit's cool. And I reached out to you guys like, oh, I love this. This is great. And then you're like, you want to be a part? I'm like, yeah, shit, sure. Fuck it. Why not? So, yeah, it was cool, man. I appreciate you guys bringing me on. It's been awesome. I love it.
And Tim, we'll have to get you on this show, and Kenneth, one of the episodes. So that's the whole point. I think education is going to be a hot topic, right? So definitely Kenneth is so relevant. So relevant. I'm still trying to decide if I let my kids go back to school because of COVID.
Yeah.
So it's the balance. Crazy. Homeschooling.
Oh gosh.
Babysitting. Like, what are we gonna do?
Well, my daughter finally went back to daycare for a couple days this week, and it's been good because it's only like 2 kids allowed at a time. So it was like I can actually get some more work done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around the reality of the potential for homeschooling, and I'm like dying a little inside.
Amy, I am so there with you right now because my mother-in-law, and she's actually middle stage dementia, can even hold a conversation with me and say, don't send your kids to school. You need to think about homeschooling them. And I'm like, okay, usually you can't even think straight, but here you are giving me advice. And I'm like,
Asian. Hey, Jeremy, remember she's Chinese. All right?
I'm like, how am I going to do this? I'm trying to help run a business and keep my household together and keep Kevin happy, because he's trying to work.
He's not an easy guy to please.
He's just not
Just get Kevin a life-size teddy bear.
He's a fire.
We'll
Yeah,
get him a
he's
different kind of teddy, and he'll be all right.
I'll give you my address and you send me the best one, okay? The most fluffy, the cutest. I need the new retail guy to send me something, okay, from Singapore. The fluffiest, maybe. Yeah.
Jeremey, your LinkedIn hashtag should totally be "Bear Me," by the way. That's freaking awesome.
No.
That is awesome.
Let's think about that.
That should totally be your LinkedIn hashtag.
We'll think about that.
I don't know, Amy. I think Amy's Quickie 2020.
Yeah,
on LinkedIn.
I'm going to change my hashtag. I'm just going to start popping that in a hashtag on my LinkedIn posts and just waiting to see if anyone sees it. Like hashtag
a quickie.
That's gonna be followed a lot.
It's gonna get followed.
It is a dominated platform.
So funny. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'll suggest to take out the 2020 because it just means it's valid for a year. No.
Right. I know. It's gotta be indefinite. I mean, have to continue. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I did that.
As much as I want to continue this, guys, I got to get going. But you guys have a great day, night, wherever you are. And
yeah, see you on LinkedIn, man.
Take it
It was
easy,
great
Tim.
connecting,
Later.
Tim.
Yeah,
Night.
great to connect you, Tim.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
Bye, Amy.
All right, yeah. I think it's time. Good night, guys.
Hey, guys, thank you.
Kenneth,
Bye.
me, Aldric might have to meet sometime. Yeah, we're all in Singapore.
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah. We'll try and do something. Yeah.
Yep.
Once this whole COVID thing, yeah.
Good stuff.
Can't wait to learn more about you, Kenneth. Nice to see you, Jeremy.
I see.
Hey,
Make sure Aldric's okay.
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay.
So,
bye.
hey, Jeremy, do you live in Aldric's building?
No. We're all in the east, but he's a few train stops away. Not so near. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. I was just
I'm more in the
wondering.
east, though.
You're in the east too?
I'm in the northeast.
Northeast. I'm in Bedok.
That's close enough.
Around Kallang. Yeah. Where are you? Which?
I live in Hougang, but I work near Kallang.
Hougang.
The university's in Kallang.
Then you're very near to Aldric. He's around Kallang.
So,
Okay.
Kenneth, do you speak
Not really.
No?
Some say.
幾好啊，今時少 already.
I only have
Still.
the Chan Ho Nam haircut.
Yeah.
Young and dangerous. Yeah.
Well, because we
Yeah.
can do a 廣東話episode.
廣東版。
廣東話。
So
I'll
do
be
you
the young
speak-
millennial that doesn't have the. I'll be the young millennial who isn't in touch with his heritage. Yeah.
So
Pick up
do
the
you
stereotypes.
speak Australian?
Australian. I speak Australian with a Singlish accent.
There you go. That's English.
Yeah.
So Jeremy,
All right, man.
have you seen Aldric's girlfriend before?
I think he's married.
Oh, really? Okay.
He said partner, right?
Yeah, I told him I've been teasing him, and I told him to send me pictures, and then he ignored me.
The one thing about Aldric is he's 100% business, man. I mean, come on, he's not even on Facebook.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
He is
Right?
definitely
He's
100.
he's so focused. I'm nowhere near him, man. Really, he
That's
inspires
okay.
me a lot. Yeah.
Sometime
inspires
Kevin
me
and
a
I
lot.
come visit. Sometime
Yeah,
Kevin
please
and I
do.
come visit, and then easier to chat. You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Please do.
We gotta make
I-
our way to Singapore. So
I hope
agree.
I hope to visit Kansas City because I think that's near to where this Ozarks are, right? You know the series Ozark.
Yep, Ozarks. Yep,
It's nearby?
it is.
It's around that area, right?
Yep, that's the area.
Kevin and I both grew up in the Ozarks.
Oh,
Both of
really?
us.
No way.
That's for
Yeah,
real. Yeah, we grew up in
yeah.
the Ozarks. Yep.
That lake, exactly.
Oh.
That Summer Lake place.
Yep.
Yes, we can teach you all about it. We know all the places to go.
I just
Kevin,
love
can
that
we-
series.
We can take you to the place where some of the movie stars go down there. Yeah, absolutely.
If you ever come down Kansas City, your family's welcome at our home. So
Yes.
No problem.
we
Thank
have
you.
a guest
We'll see
room.
about that.
So
It's
We'll see
very
about it.
clean. It's very
No.
clean. Our guest room.
as long
very
as there's a COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
Yes,
That will
exactly.
come. Don't worry. That day will come. So
Yeah.
it's been cool. I gotta
Okay.
get back to my
Okay.
work call.
All
I'll
right.
catch you again.
Bye.
Thanks, Kenneth.
Bye.
Bye,
Good to see
guys.
you.
Bye.
Thanks for having this. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, Kenneth. Bye.